Writers, directors, and leading members of the film world are often awarded and congratulated for the success of a film. Many times, they offer the perfect opportunity for the actors to leave innumerable marks in the audience with each production. However, from time to time, those marks could be a little more literal. Very often, or at least more than you think, creators of great films are known for inserting hidden messages in the production of the favorite movies of certain groups of fans. That's why you can't miss this compilation of 5 hidden messages in popular Hollywood movies you missed. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Cloverfield Monster. Can you imagine being at night with several friends gathered and celebrating the farewell party of one of them in Manhattan? Sure, that moment would be spent enjoying a lot of snacks and drinks. Of course, laughter and memories of the great feats shared can't be left out of the picture. Now, what do you think if that night was recorded by the video camera of one of the people in the gathering? There's nothing wrong with that, right? It would undoubtedly be a great memory, which would later be shared with everyone. But what if, as the night passes, a monster the size of a skyscraper reaches the city? This way, the camera recording the events becomes a chilling piece of evidence of the survival during the most incredible and terrifying moments of life. Basically, that's what happens in Cloverfield, an American horror film directed by Matt Reeves, with a screenplay by Drew Goddard and produced by J.J. Abrams and Brian Burke. The film is presented as a footage found in a personal video camera retrieved by the Department of Defense of the United States. The video consists mainly of segments recorded on the night of Friday, May 22nd. In that same recording, it was seen that an extraterrestrial object fell from the sky and unleashed chaos in the city of New York. However, if you are one of those who prefer the horror shootings, this one without a doubt is a film you have to see. Not only because it has some very good reviews, but also because of the hidden message it has. In the final moments of Cloverfield, Rob and Beth, the main characters of this work, seek refuge from the creature in Central Park. Moments later, an aerial attack buries the couple and the camera captures the whole scene the characters lived. By that time, it would have seemed the extraterrestrial and giant creature would have been already annihilated. A little time after the premiere, some fans discovered a strange 5-second audio during the credits. If that recording is played back in reverse, you can hear a voice that says it's still alive, which means the creature is not dead at all. Surprising, don't you think? This lets us know the creature survived the attack, and therefore, we can expect the sequel anytime. Number 4. I Am Legend. Have you ever seen I Am Legend? The 2007 post-apocalyptic science fiction horror film directed by Francis Lawrence and starring Will Smith. In this movie, Smith plays Robert Neville, who is immune to a man-made virus that was created to cure cancer. Do you remember now? Relax, if you don't, we'll keep giving you some clues. He works to create an antidote while defending himself from the mutants created by the virus. How about now? Remember? During the sequence when there's a search in Times Square, New York City, Will Smith passes near a billboard announcing the release of a movie. Did you see it? You didn't? Basically, it's the announcement of Batman vs. Superman, which hit the theaters on May 15th, 2010. Curious, isn't it? Since, as we told you before, I Am Legend was released in 2007, and Batman vs. Superman got to the big screen 3 years later, which means that the idea of filming this movie was already in its making, and probably the billboard in Times Square let us know the final details. In addition, the news of the film would have been presented to Brandon Routh, whose leading role was in the movie Superman Returns back in 2006, and Christian Bale, who debuted as Batman in 2005. These guys, as we know, turned down the offer to reincarnate their leading roles, but this didn't stop Warner from taking advantage of the opportunity to make a fusion between both films to drive fans crazy. So the perfect excuse was to make a sequel of The Man of Steel, but this time starring Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. So to summarize a little, it turns out there was a clear message in I Am Legend, although we're completely sure you didn't notice this. So much so that we could even talk about a kind of product placement in, which is nothing more than getting a clear message or brand reference into another visual production. In this case, a reference to the Batman vs. Superman film. But what would be the exact purpose of this? Without a doubt, provoking a certain commotion in the fans with this sign, and obtaining a lot of income through one of the biggest teams in the world, the Hollywood studios. Number 3. Matrix Reloaded. Who doesn't love The Matrix? And especially when it comes to the sequel directed by the Wachowski brothers and distributed by Warner Brothers. You remember this, don't you? In case you don't, we'll try to refresh your memory and we'll put you in context to explain to you the next hidden message. The rebels of Zion, the last human city, have received disturbing news. The machines try to penetrate the underground city by drilling through the subsoil. So, Neo is faced with a problem even though he doesn't know exactly how to solve it. The movie starts showing Trinity on a mission. There, she's murdered by one of the agents, who are constantly chasing her. However, it's a nightmare Neo has been having repeatedly, and he decides not to tell Trinity anything about it. The plot of the film unfolds little by little until Neo manages to save Trinity. However, we won't provide any other spoilers of the movie because we're not sure if you've already seen it, or if maybe you remembered where the film goes from here. In any case, you should see the film. We can always find something new in this film that may reveal very interesting things. Now that we've managed to get you into the context, we'll tell you that in this movie, many cars always appear. Normally, in these shootings, the license plates of the vehicles are designed to be a part of the scene, but usually they can't be read so easily. Unless it's something intentional, like the opening for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which focuses on the license plate saying, "Fresh." The truth is that the Wachowski brothers were so meticulous with these scenes that many of the license plates of the cars are shorthand references of the sacred scripture. What? Why? We were also surprised when we found out about this. At the beginning of Matrix Reloaded, Agent Smith's license plate says IS-5416, which corresponds to Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals in the fire, and that brings forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. But this is not all. There are still more hidden signs. During the follow-up sequence of the highway, the Cadillac plate of Trinity has the letters and numbers DA-203, which corresponds to Daniel 2:03, which says, he told them, I had a dream that worries me and I want to know what it means. Which makes us conclude that with great intention, the Wachowski brothers made reference of religious texts in their work as a form of inspiration to create this amazing film. Number 2. Star Wars Episode 3. Who hasn't seen any of these movies at least once in their life? It's not really an intellectual person when it comes to classic films. But calm down that if you're part of this group of people who have never seen Star Wars, the only thing we'll do is suggest that you do it. Now, if on the contrary you're a fan, we'll tell you a detail you may not know yet. Do you remember Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith? When Anakin Skywalker is seduced by the dark side of the Force to become the new apprentice of Darth Sidious and is reborn as Darth Vader. The Jedi are almost eliminated. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Yoda go into exile, and the only hope to save the galaxy is the descendants of Anakin, the secretly born twins who would grow up and become Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. Are you more into the context now? Although what we'll tell you next will leave you a little out of place. This amazing film has as its source of inspiration the Catholic religion. Now, do things like the Chosen One, the Temple, and other elements of this belief have a meaning for you? Especially when Anakin represents and manages to demonstrate several of the deadly sins, especially pride and anger. What placed him on the road to the dark side? But wait, that's not everything, there's more. Despite his terrible sins, Luke never loses faith in his father and Anakin. Important elements and actions present within Catholicism. Finally, Anakin repents and sacrifices his life to save the lives of his children, and that is how forgiveness saved his life. Sure, you didn't expect it. So if you have the opportunity of watching this wonderful movie and look carefully at these elements we just mentioned, you should do so. Number 1. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. If you're one of those who prefer comedy films, this one's for you. This is Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, a film directed by Adam McKay and starring Will Ferrell, Christina Applegate, Steve Carell, and Paul Rudd. The argument is based on a prestigious newscaster from San Diego in the 70s. By that time, most people believed absolutely everything that was said on television. Ron thinks that women can have a place in the newsroom if they're limited to cover the fashion shows or the latest culinary trends. For that reason, when some members of the channel inform him he's going to work with a young and brilliant journalist named Veronica, who's smart enough to not be adornment, Ron begins to have a bit of anxiety. When Ron Burgundy's boss introduces him to Veronica, all the men feel uncomfortable with the presence of the journalist, including Ron's co-workers. So when they start working together and Ron learns that Veronica's dream is to become the first reporter, a war starts between them, and this way the plot of the film begins. What did you expect? Did you think we'd tell you the ending? We don't like to spoil things for people. If on the other hand you've already seen it, it'd be a good opportunity for you to see it again and realize the hidden message left by the producers in this film. In one of the scenes of the film, when Veronica Corningstone visits a Mexican restaurant with other women from Channel 4 of KVWN television, they plan to punish the news team and Ron Burgundy for their sexist views. The restaurant they visit has an ad in the entry that says, "Escupimos en su alimento," which is Spanish for, "we spit in your food," meaning that in reality, the local chefs spit out the food they prepare. This would be a kind of mockery or satire towards restaurants and seek to show the reality of what is done in many food places. Obviously, that may not happen if you're really nice to the waiter. Alright, Top Fivers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited thefinestpost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read? If not, click the link in the description.